guys, this is a video on how to replace your hard plastic cooling lines on your Vanagon. This is a 91 Vanagon Westphalia 2-wheel drive. Swapping out my old plastic lines for stainless. Show you guys how I'm going to do it. This is looking a little different than probably stock. Got a Subaru turbo in this van, so this setup might just be a little bit different, but the actual plastic cooling lines are the same as stock, so nothing's really changed there. First thing you're going to do is get under here. If you don't already have your coolant drained, come to this low point right here under the sort of the main frame, right where your transmission bolts up, and you're going to pop a hole here, let the coolant drain out, and pop another one there and let the coolant drain out there, so that you can go ahead and start working on removing the lines and then getting the new ones in. This is my first time ever doing this, but it seems pretty straightforward, so see how it goes. So to drill this, I'm using this old crappy drill. I really don't care if it gets coolant all over it, so get a bucket underneath and then get your drill bit up here and just drill away. You can see this is just draining out. You can open up your cap in the rear, or that little bleeder screw on the radiator to help it drain out if you'd like. Or you can widen the hole a little bit to get a little bit faster flow. So while your coolant is draining, you can come up here to the front and disconnect your radiator hoses. I've already had these off, so they didn't have much coolant in them, but you're gonna likely have a bunch of coolant here, so get another bucket. You can see how toast these are. They're all cracked and melted and pretty messed up, so that's why I'm replacing. So I just disconnected. I have these flexible radiator hoses going to my plastic lines here in the rear, sort of by the engine compartment. You can see this one's missing the flange altogether. Should have replaced these earlier, but so these little metal wire brackets that hold it up are pretty straightforward to take out. They kind of just sit up there in that little slot, and you just kind of bend it up and then it'll pop out, and then it just kind of drops out of there, just like that. So there's one right here, right next to the transmission bolt up, and then there's going to be another one right behind the gas tank. So for the gas tank, what you're going to do is you remove 13mm bolt right here on the strap, and then another one right here, this strap. These straps will drop down. The tank will be able to sit on this sort of frame here, and then you can kind of slowly lower this end of the tank down and support it with jack stands. There's a bunch of crossover pipes if you've never replaced your gas tank, sort of on the front end of the tank, so you don't want to drop it down too far, otherwise you're going to mess with those lines, and that's sort of a pain in the butt. So quick note here, you're going to want to save these little wire brackets that hold the pipes up, because the new lines do not come with these, so you're going to be reusing these for sure, so make sure you save those. So in order to get the tank to drop down far enough to actually get up there and do anything, you're going to need to disconnect your fuel lines. So for the main one, just crimped it with some vice grips, and then let it drain off into a metal bowl, and then I put a little cap over the fuel pump just to keep it from drizzling. For this return line, and actually for the supply line, if you don't have a little cap to cap this guy with, you can make one. This is just some fuel line with a bolt and a hose clamp. Just shove that over, and that should keep it from leaking on you if you don't have a little cap for it. So I'm just gonna crimp it and then put that cap on the line, and then I can drop down the tank. Alright, so once you get your tank dropped down, this is as far as I'm getting mine down without the crossover line being pulled. So I got a jack stand there supporting it, but there is a hose clamp that goes around both the lines right here, just behind this big old bracket. You can see it's just a flat head that holds those guys on there, so you're going to want to undo that, and then undo all the zip ties that are holding the heater lines up in there. This blue thing's wires for electric throttle on my Subaru, so most of you, or pretty much all of you, won't have that. So yeah, get those out, and then there's going to be another one sort of up in the front, and I'm going to try to reach in from that side and get the next little metal bracket out, and then I think I'm going to probably cut these guys sort of right in here, and then I can remove this section going towards the engine bay, and then pull these guys out over top of the gas tank. Alright, so I just chopped these just a little ways off this fuel tank bracket. Used the angle grinder to cut them. That was pretty easy. Definitely not a pretty job, but they're cut. Just gotta be really careful when you're cutting in here. These are power steering lines. Most of them are metal. These are new, so they're rubber, but watch out for your power steering lines and then your heater lines. I sort of zip tied them up out of the way. Don't want to cut into those, and then don't want to cut into this. You can kind of, pry these down a little bit to get in there, chop them out, but they're pretty much ready to go out now. There is one more metal bracket like the other one I took out, and he's on the other side of the gas tank, sort of by the power steering rack, so that's pretty easy to get out. You don't actually need to reach up under the gas tank. Just go around to the front and pull him out, and then these should be ready to pull out. And then this piece, I marked these passenger driver just to make it a little easier myself to figure out which one's which. So I just lined up the new lines and the old lines after I pulled the old ones out, which was pretty easy. These lines are from Bus Depot. These guys have got really good prices, so recommend that. And you can see they're pretty much perfect as far as all the little bends and stuff. Alright, so getting the lines in that go over the gas tank is a bit of a trick, but it's not too hard. This might sound stupid, but you might want to label these passenger driver. I actually got it mixed up, which sounds really dumb, but when you're under here they kind of look the same, so you might want to label them. They go in a lot easier, that's for sure, if you don't mess it up. But if you label them, but then I inserted them from this side actually, rather than in from the front. They fit a little bit better if you push them in this way. And then I got the little clip up there by the power steering rack on, and then just sort of put the front radiator hoses on temporarily, just to kind of see fitment. Then you can go ahead and put on the little silicone piece of radiator hose here, and join the other two pieces together, which is pretty easy. You'll leave your clamp off until you're confident you got it in the right spot, and then you can put that on. Alright, so keep working at it, and then you can eventually get this clip in here on these rear pipes. It's a bit of a trick. I kind of used these to help me align it, get the general place of where it needs to go, and then you just kind of have to play with him until this clip will go up, and then yeah, then you can put these clamps on. Make sure you put these on beforehand before you put these on, because they're a little hard to get off. I recommend sort of just running some water through these before you put them on to kind of lubricate them, where you can twist them pretty easily. If you don't, they're really sticky. And then I would strongly recommend blowing some air through these before you hook up your engine lines and your radiator lines permanently, just to make sure there's no dust and crap in them that may have fallen in there while you were working on them. So I'm gonna definitely blow mine out, disconnect everything, and then blow them out real good. Yeah, that's about it. It's pretty straightforward. It's just a lot of sort of fiddling until you get it into the right spots.